Hey everybody, Courtney here, and this is the little video I'm doing on financial independence. And this is a spinoff from the podcast Choose FI on the Milestones of FI. And I thought I would go through it, but I've done a couple of videos that it's a little bit clunky to go through it like that. So I just want to explain to you financial independence from a middle-aged person's point of view, because most of the people in the FI community, not all, but most are younger. And it's a good mix of men and women, but most are younger and they're high income earners. Financial independence means that you have enough money to live off of from either your investments, maybe rental property, some kind of side hustle, but you basically don't have to work. And there are different kinds of financial independence. There is well, let's go through them real briefly. First of all, you're in the beginning stages of FI when you have paid off all of your debt except your mortgage, and you are in a positive net worth of $1. And we are definitely there. We owe about $170,000 on our mortgage, which we are aggressively paying off. And I'm going to do a video on how we're cutting back to do that, because we're really about to hammer down on that. Number two is, well, it's number two on this list, but I'm not going to follow that, is when you have runway money. They call it FU money, and it is kind of like what it sounds, but really it means freedom unlimited. When you have enough money, 2 to 3 years, and this is all about your comfort zone, 2 to 3 years of living expenses should you need to quit your job or lose your job. And so and that's your discretionary expense, not non-discretionary expenses. So to pay all of your bills, your utilities, your mortgage, your food, your gas, your phone. So when you have enough, it's if tomorrow I went to work and my boss said I'm retiring and we're closing shop, I would be able to live comfortably until I found another job or I figured out some kind of side hustle. So that is another milestone. We technically are, I guess, at that point, because we do have, I could scrape together 2 years worth of income right now from different areas that we have without touching my investments, my retirement. So we would definitely be at that point. The next one is when one of you is technically financially independent if you're a couple. So for us, what that looks like is my husband is 61, and in, 3.5 years, he will retire, and he will be eligible for Social Security at 65, but that's not full retirement, so I want to talk to you about that. He will also have police retirement, which is only about $1,100 a month. However, if we have no house payment, that is plenty for him to contribute with me still working. Then he will be able to put, he's not going to take Social Security, at least I hope he doesn't right away, because I don't think that's a smart move. He could take Social Security though, and we would have enough to pay our basic bills without either one of us ever working again. So in 3.5 years, we would be able to live very frugally with the money from Social Security and the money from his APRS retirement. I don't want to do that. I want to keep investing and save up so that we are more comfortable as years go on. The next one would be lean FI. And what lean FI is when you have enough money coming in, and that could be from different sources, not from work, but like rental income, royalties, investment money, dividends from stocks, things like that. Whatever it is that you could live off of for eternity till you move over to the other side. So that is just, if you can live on 30 but you would like to have 42, you're at lean FI. The way you figure out your financial independence number is you take the amount of money that you need to live on that you feel comfortable with times 25. So if 40,000 is that number times 25, that is $1 million. All right, so and you look at it at 4% interest. That's from a study that was done that shows that your money should last forever without getting into the base of it by taking 4% for the rest of your life. Okay, so flex FI is when you have enough money to live on, but if the market tanked, you have enough money in your FU fund, Freedom Unlimited Fund, or what we might call your emergency fund, that you could live on until the market recovered, which, by the way, historically is about 13 months. The longest ever has been 5 years. So you may have to cut back or do a side hustle or something like that. The next one is FATFI. And FATFI is when you have enough money to live on comfortably for the rest of your life coming in. That could be from rental income. That could be from interest. That could be taking 4% out. If your investments are making 8% and you're taking out 4%, your investments are still going to grow. If you have rental income coming in, royalty checks. I'm an author, so I get small royalty checks. I'm working on some self-publishing gigs right now that I'm hoping will give me more royalty checks. So if you have like a little side gig going and that's bringing in some, technically you could be at FATFI. So we have FU money, or the run rate. First of all, no debt and positive net worth. FU money, which is Freedom Unlimited. You could quit your job tomorrow and live a couple of years without worrying. Lean FI is, or having one of you FI. One of you could be financially independent and only one person would have to work. Lean FI is having just enough money to pay your bills with very little discretionary spending. Flex FI means that you could live on your investments or whatever money is coming in, but if the market tanked, you have an option to get by until it recovers. And FATFI is having enough money coming in that you can live very comfortably. Even if the market tanks a little bit, you're going to be okay. And so you probably would have FU money, you would have a couple years savings, plenty of money in cash. You would maybe have rent money coming in or royalties, and you would also have investment money and maybe some dividend money coming in. You know, a couple years ago, I wouldn't have thought any of this was even possible. I knew conceptually that there was a way, I just couldn't figure it out. Like, I have known since I was 30 that I wanted to retire at 55, but I haven't been able to figure out how until I found a good deep explanation of financial independence. I read Your Money or Your Life when I was like 23, but it just didn't, like, it sank in. But I just thought, well, my plan is going to be, I'm going to live like in a shoebox, and I just won't have any bills, and I'll work as much as needed and save money, and I'll take lots of long vacations. But now I know, because my husband and I, and if you look back at my stories, you'll see that about 7 years ago, my husband and I met. Now, it's been 8 years now. Yeah. And we were both very, very broke. And what we have done over those years really isn't that complicated. We haven't gotten into debt. We've worked hard. We've built our side businesses, our side hustles, if you will. We've saved. We have not increased our level of spending. We have not taken on debt except for the mortgage. And it has really led us to get to a better place. We together probably made about $30,000 in income. I was making about $15,000 a year when we met. I had just gotten a divorce. My husband now wasn't making much more. He had just gotten a divorce like 9 months earlier. He had opened a new business that was not thriving, and he was working part-time. It was bad. Then he had a roofing business, but it was very small. We grew that roofing business together. We grew my business. I took on more and more work. He got a full-time job, and now we're making 6 figures, in the low to middle 6 figures. We are able to save about 50% of our income at this time. And so I say save, I put a large portion on that at the house, on the house. We will have our house paid off in about 2 years, and then we will sock away the money we were putting on the house in our IRAs and 401ks and cash. And then in 3.5 years, I will be able to go four days a week, 4 half days a week of work. My husband will be able to work the roofing company part-time only. That's all he'll have to do. And we will be very comfortable. By the time he's 68 or 70, he'll take Social Security. It will be very large at that point. It'd be enough for us both to live on. And when I'm 59 and a half, I can go to 2 days or completely quit at that point if I choose. All right, hope this has been helpful. Thank you so much.